Boom, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Catch Up. Now today we're going to be going through two projects. Now both of these have something in common. One, they don't have a white paper. Two, they both aren't actually planning on ICOing anytime soon. But why are we looking at them? Well, because they look interesting. They're very basic at the point in time. There's obviously not a lot of detail there because you don't have that white paper to go into it. However, they're looking promising. So let's get into them. Alright, so the first one we're looking at here, guys, is Taraxa. So it's democratizing the Internet of Things data. So we're living in a world now, and we keep going on about this, that data is like liquid gold. You know, it is this new kind of value add that we never had before because there's so much of it being, captured and created, but so much of it that's not being utilized to its full potential, whether that to be, understanding trends or to utilize it to, best create new applications. All of that is there waiting to be, bought and sold between different parties. But there's kind of an intermediary problem here. Now that intermediary problem is, well, effectively, we don't know where the provenance of this data's come from. So like Cambridge Analytica, they've acquired this data in, a nefarious means. Therefore, we want to make sure that we're buying and selling this data in a particular way. So what this project is all based on DAGs, so directed acyclic graph, and a block lattice. Now there's actually a project out there that's massive around block lattice that's going to be coming out this year, and when that drops you'll definitely see me on it. But what it's effectively saying is that, DLTs or distributed ledgers currently, have great kind of things here. So they're secure, they're decentralized, but they don't have the ability for light nodes, so something to run on a light device. They don't have marketplaces and a few other things going along. So what they're saying is obviously it's going to be orders of magnitude faster because it uses software transactional memory or inspired by the principles of this to be able to make smart contract calls on a DAG. Now, this is another project within the last couple of weeks that are using DAG and using smart contracts. So we're definitely starting to see a theme here because it is fast. Now, they're saying they're going to use reputation-driven sharding. So over here, you've got a full node that's practically assigned a portion of the workload to do those transactions and validate it, which obviously, as we've seen with other projects with sharding efforts like Zilqua and a few others out there, that is that parallel nature of being able to do multiple things at one time to increase the throughput. It's saying here that it's light programmatically. This enables IoT devices like sensors to be able to actually, perform computations on the network and be a part of it. It can't be run down with having to do particular transactions or large data overheads in those transactions. Otherwise, it just simply will not function. So it's an encrypted market, and I believe I read that the first dApp that they'll be building is this encrypted data market where you can buy and sell data as a broker effectively. And it is saying it is actually built on top of block lattice, pioneered by Nano or Ryblox back in the day. Now, there is a huge amount of use cases for this, from automotive, so sensor data for your insurance companies, agriculture, tracking, crops, even drones or anything like that, to healthcare, if you're in a hospital or you're at home in an aged care facility. And this is a piece of work that I've done actually quite a lot of work around, where you want to stay at home as long as possible. And in Australia, it's very expensive. We have a very aging population. So with that healthcare, we can use that data to, work out, is this a better way to treat someone over trends, and to, democratize that data to find the best way forward. Now, people go, well, why are you using my data for that? Well, that's up to you to share such data, but it definitely will benefit humankind or humanity as a whole by utilizing this data in this way to find out that information. Now, when we have a look at the team, I've had a look at them on LinkedIn. Seemingly was strong, however, Vikram, William, Ilja didn't even exist on there. Both these guys, great educational backgrounds, but absolutely zero experience. It says here that Willem worked for IBM. He was an intern there in 2017. Nothing much other than that. I would comfortably say that, you know, the team overall doesn't have the experience that I would hope is necessary to develop this. A lot of thought and a lot of, you know, white papers and other things like that, but not enough to actually build it out themselves and continuing to build it out. So that's what then lacks in the advisory board here, guys. There's no one actually from a marketing perspective to take it global, but there's also no development prowess to assist them in that way. And no GitHub or anything like that, of course. So that's one to look at, though. It is very interesting what they're doing with the DAG, Taraxa. Let's go over and jump over to Coda. Now, this is something that I found very interesting. So it's the Coda Protocol, so codaprotocol.com. Now, effectively what they're saying and what they're referring to here is that, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you've got blocks every couple of minutes, every seconds, depending on the chain. And it's large. You're talking a lot of transactions, etc. But what these guys are actually saying is that they're going to use ZK Snarks. Now, ZK Snark is a privacy protocol used on Ethereum and many other. But what they're effectively saying is that it's going to be a succinct blockchain. And what they mean by that is that computationally, it will take the same time and the same amount of memory to be able to read the prior transaction history in the past. So it only keeps a current state of right now, and it keeps a proof of that current state and everything that has come before it. And what they're saying will only be 20 kilobytes and around about 10 milliseconds to actually read and determine the state of any transaction history or anything like that in the past. And how they're doing that is with recursive composition, which is like a hierarchy of structured information I guess in computing. Now, with this here, so it's saying it can scale to millions of users and thousands of transactions a second while remaining decentralized. And that's true, because if you have a 20 kilobyte size, you know, for the whole chain here you're talking about, rather than hundreds of gigabytes, which is incredibly, you know, forward thinking. You can run it on anything. You can run it on an IoT device, a full node. You can run, you know, on a range of things. So it is very special in that regard. So like it's saying, instant sync because of this. Oh, sorry, they do have a white paper. I should pick that up, but it's in a draft state. But what is true for this and Taraxa is the fact that they both are not planning to ICO at the point in time. If we go down, we have a look at the team. So they've got you know, a range of positions filled from a different elements. However, there's no advisory there whatsoever at the moment, and they are looking for jobs. But what's something to look at here, guys, is that they do have very strong investments. So Polychain Capital's massive. You know, I don't know a lot of these other people individually myself, but they are big players in this space. Like I said, Polychain is huge. So overall, once again, an awesome little project here. So it is effectively going to be a cryptocurrency. It has privacy elements just naturally because they're using ZK Snarks, but they're saying that the actual chain size is going to be 20 kilobytes, and that is unheard of. Not even things like Pascal Safebox is talking about anything like that. So this is pretty cool stuff. All right, they're the two projects for today, guys. There's nothing really else out there that I'm super bullish on, so I thought I'd show you these two. You can jump on, get into them early, and see where they take you. As always, like and subscribe, and even hit the little bell up there if you want to get some of my videos as they come out. Peace out.